friends, what's happening? This is Andy Irvine coming to you from my Daily Funk Club headquarters one more time. And I just wanted to play a little bit for you and talk about a couple of cool things. First of all, this instrument that I'm playing, this is an old P-Bass copy made by Aria Pro 2 sometime in the mid to late 70s. And it is by far the nicest P-Bass copy from that generation, from that era, that I've ever played. And definitely, ever owned. And one thing that's made it absolutely spectacular is the pickups and harness that I just recently put in that were provided by Nordstrand and my friends at Nordstrand Audio. They're the Power Blades, Power P blade, and it's just completely passive, just a nice new fresh harness and these pickups. And man, what an amazing sounding and playing instrument. And I'm super picky, and I do have a pretty discerning taste when it comes to instruments. I would be willing to bet money that if I blindfolded the most loyal P-Bass lover and put this bass in their hands, I would be able to, they would probably not guess that it's a copy. Usually they just have something about them that definitely makes them feel a little bit weird or different by comparison to a real Fender bass. Usually it's in the neck, obviously. So I just love and adore this bass. Now the other thing I wanted to mention is these cabinets. It's such a pleasure for me to feature all the different brands that I do. And I know it seems like I like everything because, I do like everything that I have here because, first of all, the instruments that I buy from my personal collection, I only buy the ones I like. And all the brands that I invite here to be sponsors at the Daily Funk Club, I like the stuff that they make. So for sure, I just adore these Baer Amplification cabinets. They're the ML series, which is short for mid-loaded. They don't have tweeters in them. They have a coned mid-range driver, right? So the top one has a 12, and then the bottom one has a 15. It's a two-way cabinet. It's this great full-range sound. So I should have tuned it before I started, but sometimes I forget that. Anyways, going back to the cabinet, these Baer amplification cabinets are fantastic, and for the next 3 or 4 or 5 videos, I'll be featuring them. That's what I do. Is I go through a rotation. I work with Phil Jones and Baer Amplification and Tech Amp, Mesa Boogie, Acme Sound Low B, Ampeg, and I go and Gailey and Kruger. And what I'll do is I make videos every day. So I'll make 5 or 6 videos with one amplifier, one speaker cabinet brand, and then I'll move on to the next. So the Baer cabs are up in the rotation here, and I just feel inclined to give a few comments on them because they're a really, really great sounding just a great full range sound. And I do like cabs with horns in them or tweeters in them, and I have several that have that. But for sure, I always set it at the lowest setting. And the thing about tweeters is they're cool, but, like with great power comes great responsibility. You have to go easy with them. You can't, have them cranked up and have that super glassy thing. Because when you're standing right on top of it, you slapping away or whatever, and you're getting this great kind of scooped out, SWR era, you know, scooped out slap bass sound from the, you know, late 80s, early 90s or whatever. And the problem is that like 20 feet out in the crowd, all that you hear is this terrible pink, 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 pink. All you hear is that tweeter taking your face off. So, you know, you got to be careful with tweeter cabinets. The great thing about the Baer amplification cabinets is they have this great throw that is real nice and even, and the high end is very much there. They're not robbed of high end by any stretch, but the high end is just much more smooth and just much more well behaved. And you know, these cabinets, I don't take them out of the house that much. It's kind of like certain instruments. I don't take them on that many gigs not because I don't like them, because I kind of covet them. And these things are so nice. It's just like the Acme cabs, you know. I don't feel like tearing them up out on the gigs, you know what I'm saying? I feel like keeping them nice and just here. And I'm fortunate enough that I can do that, you know. Anyways, the head that I'm using is the Mesa Boogie Subway D800, and it's just killer. I just absolutely love it. It's in terms of the Class D lightweight amps. For me, you know, it's got the greatest, you know, one of the greatest sound and performance scenarios, because, you know, it's designed to run. It'll push 3 8-ohm cabinets at 2.6 ohms, and, you know, you can create a stack with 3 8-ohm cabs and have this really great modular but big rig that's super lightweight, and when it's all stacked up and all hooked up, it's doling out some serious volume with lots of headroom. And you know, to me that's great, because, you know, it's just easier sometimes to carry the lightweight stuff. I mean, always to carry the lightweight stuff around. Now, on some situations when I'm playing on a big outdoor festy or something like that, then something like this is delightful. But this is not something that I take out to every single gig. You see what I'm saying? To a little club date. It's definitely overkill. So yeah, there you go. You know, these Power Blade pickups and these old you know, these old Aria Pro copies, P-bass copies and jazz bass copies from the mid-late 70s Motsumaku factory stuff it's really truly some of the best from that era. So there you have it. Thanks a lot for tuning in and checking out the videos that I put up every day, and it's really, really great. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to do what I love with basses, and to help a lot of these great brands, some that are well established, and many that are up and coming brands. You know, like Bosquez and Granis and Hammersmith and just, you know, and Gamma, just these kind of new brands that are just coming up. A lot of them are just kind of a one-man operation. You know, I'm working with Slab 66 out of the UK now, and oh man, but you know, just a whole bunch of really great builders, and you know, for me, it's just a dream come true to be able to play basses and help you know, offer up a little bit of my personal experience to players and to builders, and to help them kind of develop a marketing strategy, and in some cases develop some designs for instruments and things like that. And just being involved in kind of that part of that team thing I love being part of a team and contributing what I can to the greater good of it. And so just a big shout out, MG Basses, Steve Donor Designs, you know, so many guys that I'm really, really honored to work with. And then, you know, people like Kerry Nordstrand and my friends at Bartolini, and you know, the list just goes on and on and on. Tsunami cables, you know, I don't mention my Tsunami cables enough. I only use Tsunami cables, and you know, sometimes I forget to mention that. In my strings, Black Diamond strings, I only use Black Diamond strings. You know, my strap locks are made are by Lox, which is a German company, LOXX. I have them on every bass here. You know, that's a lot of sets of strap locks they've provided me. You know what I'm saying? Considering there's 50 basses here, and every single one of them has these locks on it. I've worked with Levy's Leathers for many, many years for gig bags and straps, and now also with Ergo straps from Santiago, Chile, who are my friends at Igor Sarvadra introduced me to at NAMM last year. And just, you know, like you know, I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. I'm sure I will before it's all over with here. Michael Tobias, Michael and Daniel Tobias, great guys. The folks at Hipshot and the folks at Warmouth, you know, all these people I have great personal relationships with, you know, and it's just fun. You know, I get up every day, and you know, it's like a dream come true to just kind of like my job be to you know, play these different instruments and kind of offer up what I can in the hopes that it'll turn some people on to them, you know, and hear what they sound like in somebody's hands, and you know, be a resource to the bass players from all around the world, and share what I know. You know, in some cases give some advice to players that are just getting started, or you know, offer up maybe some buying advice in terms of what's a good value and what's good in a certain price point. You know, like you know, Nino Valenti and DNA Custom or DNA Guitar Company. You know, there's I work with a variety of different price point brands. I work with Retro Vibe out of the UK that makes a bass for like $500-700. You know what I mean? And then all the way up to like Dingwall and Kerry Nordstrand Custom Instruments and everything in between. So, you know, everybody has a different, you know, amount of spending that they can do on gear. I think that the amplifier range is pretty much consistent. You know what I mean? You get what you pay for with anything, but in the amplifier realm, you know, everything's kind of really around the same kind of price places. And for the pro stuff, in terms of guitars, you know, you could spend you know, $600-700 on a bass, all the way up to $6,000 or $7,000 on a bass. And what's the difference? You know, what makes one worth $7,000 and one worth $700? Those are the kind of questions that a lot of people have. And you know, I know why. You know, and I'm here to tell you why some, you know, cost more than others, and there's a lot of factors in that. And that's kind of what I do. That's kind of the usefulness that I think I bring to the table. So, you know, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you continue to. I'm getting ready to launch another giveaway. It'll be the 4th giveaway, I think. This one's going to be with Hammersmith and some other brands, but it's going to be a custom Hammersmith bass, and that's going to be the fall giveaway. And so stay tuned and keep coming back. And just thank you so much for helping me make this whole Daily Funk Club dream come true. Thanks, everybody. Rock on.